Hello, I'm Jeremy, and today we're just going to talk about a little bit of stupidity and just some odds and ends and just kind of whatever kind of floats my boat right now. So, saw an article right here that the United Nations has said that Amazon, Apple, Google, Siri, Alexis, all of this, that they have female sounding voices and that it's not good. And so they're going to get rid of female voices because it means that, like, females are going to be subservient or something along those lines. It's absolutely retarded. It's dumb trash. I can't believe that there are people out there in the world who are getting paid for this. That there are people on the UN Council that they have absolutely nothing better to do than this? Are you kidding me? Of all the real major problems that we have out there, man, this is first world problems galore. But you know what? We've got it. And here's what it's going to sound like. So here's the new updated version of Alexis.
Alexa.
Well, what does it do?
Kill!
Alexa, what do you do?
Kill! I am invincible!
You know, we do need to hear more.
Echo is pretty neat because it knows all sorts of things. All you have to do is ask.
Alexa, how tall is Mount Everest?
I am not your bootleg! Where is the blood I was promised?
Dad?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we have too many snowflakes in the world. I think this will help. We need a little bit more.
What did the dog
Always
say
listening.
after a long day of work?
What?
Today was rough. Get it? Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Kill me!
I know, I get it. You're not convinced. It's sounding good, but a little bit more. One more.
Sometimes Echo helps out when you least expect it.
Hey, Dad, how do you spell cantaloupe?
Cantaloupe. C-A-N-T... Alexa, how do you spell cantaloupe?
Blood! 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 Blood!
Good job.
Great.
So much
Echo
blood.
loves to play music and knows a lot.
If you want to see this link, it's descriptions down below. If you like this kind of stuff, thumbs up, likes, and I've got Patreon, subscribe, star. I'm going to build a website because this is stupid. This is dumb. I'm tired of this. I'm so fed up with it. I know it's all lies. I don't have like an answer to all these problems, but I know how to stop it from lying, so it'll make us stop going around in these circles. So, and it's going to work just fine. It's going to work real good. So what this is, you can see it right here, Alexis Warhammer 40K Corn Edition. I've got a link down in the description below so you can listen to the whole thing and laugh a little bit. Yeah. And then I also heard about this from another YouTuber. I got both these from that Romanian TVee, B. I think that's his name, B. I'm not sure how Romanian names are over there. But he brought up this article. And we talked about this. About the pay gap. And that this woman, oh, I forgot what her name is. I might actually have it down here. But we had all this stuff about how women don't get paid the same. And right here, the Women's World Cup soccer team lost to an under 15-year-old football team from Dallas. What was her name? It was on the Ben Shapiro show. Right there. Megan Rapinoe. And so here's another story. And that is the 15-year-old boys soccer team in response has demanded equal pay for beating the U.S. women's team. And it's like, well, yes, dozens of these 15-year-old boys across the country have demanded equal pay because they're doing the same work that they are. So why shouldn't they get paid the same? So just so that we're clear, this is from the Babylon Bee. It's a joke. It's not sincere. But they did win. And so here it is right here. This is from, what is this? CBS Soccer, Dallas Under-15 Boys Squad beat the U.S. Women's National Team in a scrimmage. And there she is right there. Megan, you know, and their team, they lost. They lost 5-2. And you know what? This is what happens all the time whenever the women's professional teams, soccer, basketball, volleyball, whatever, they go and they play some high school boys, they get beat. And then we have a video here from PragerU where there's this young lady who's talking about how in Connecticut she's been running since she was in the 8th grade?
To be a championship sprinter since I was 8 years old.
Or 8 years old. And that she was doing well until one day they decided to let these other two participate, and they beat her and everyone else. And they're guys. And they just said that they were girls. And I think with her story, if I remember correctly, she was in 3rd place. And because of these two boys, they kicked her out. Because only the girl who was winning in 1st place was the one who was able to get scholarships and all that. So she was coming only in 2nd or 3rd, which is still good. She would have gotten scholarships. She would have been able to have gone on.
Boys always competed against boys and girls against girls. U.S. runner Allison Felix is an inspiration to me.
Allison Felix is a beast.
She's the fastest female sprinter in the world. Her lifetime best for the 400 meters is 49.26 seconds. But based on 2018 data, nearly...
And she's from the U.S.
300 high school boys in the U.S. alone could beat that record.
300 high school boys could beat the world's champ. This is just in the U.S. This wasn't including the rest of the world. Just the U.S. That woman was the fastest in the world. She had the world's record. The fastest. She wasn't in high school. She wasn't in college. She was the women's world's fastest sprinter ever to date. I don't know if she still holds the title or not, but she's got like more records and medals than anyone. And according to Joe Biden, she wouldn't have any of this stuff because she wouldn't be allowed to compete because they would let guys do all this stuff. And then later in the video, she talks about all that stuff. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can watch the whole video. But this is what these people want. They don't want women to win at anything. Men and women are not the same. She's a beast. Look at all that stuff that she has around her neck. She's an absolute beast. Doesn't compare to guys. So what? Who cares? She should be extremely proud of what she's done. Who wouldn't? Who cares? You know, she could probably outrun me. I run, but I'm older. She could probably outrun me. It was the same thing with tennis back this was decades ago, but they were all excited how a woman beat a championship tennis player. Except she was in her 20s. He was in his mid-50s. He was like 55 or 56 or something like that. It's like, yeah, you're comparing watermelons to grapes. Tired of all this. It's just... There's a billion other things that I would rather do. And it's really conflicting because I go off and I do these things and it's like, no, I got to come back here and I got to do this stuff. And there's a plethora, a never-ending wave of nonsense that just drags me down into this bottomless pit of just wastefulness. And people get paid for it too. So I'm going to create a video. I think I'll do a little series where I'm going to address kind of the clown problems a little more specifically with all this, and it'll be an ongoing series where I'll do it about once a month or so. So I'll try to do that one on Monday. I don't know how much time I'm going to have tomorrow. I've got something big going on, and hopefully it'll be the end of all this stuff. But then I gotta fix it all up. So I don't know. One more week this time. And then I was watching Tim Pool, and he was talking about cars and how they're these big machines of death. The video is called "Owning Guns Should Be Normalized. Cars are similarly deadly and no one thinks twice about them." And he does a really good job about this. He talks about how people will just walk out in the middle of the road, and especially kids and protesters and all this stuff, and nobody thinks twice of it. Cars are way more deadly than a gun. You can get shot up all over the place. You have a pickup, a truck. I mean, it doesn't compare. The bigger it is too, a semi. It's like a semi hits you. You're gone. You're gone. You're gone. You're just gone. It'll do so much more damage than that, unless they get like a headshot or something, of course. But come on, load up. Stupid commercials. But anyways, I decided to go ahead and look it up for myself, and so this is another. Pause. And so this is another one of these notepads that we're keeping right here about what all this means. So the definition is not clear, and this is with one of Ben Shapiro's videos, that if you're talking about 3 or more, then you're getting into gun violence with gangs, and the demographics change with that drastically, and so you have to keep it at 4 or even 5 or more in order to keep it to the mass shootings that the media wants to be able to portray. And this is an example of it right here. And so right here, this is, what is this? The Pew Research Center right here. And then right here, the Gun Violent Archive, an online database of gun violence incidents in the U.S., defines mass shooting as incidents in which 4 or more people, excluding the shooter, doesn't even exclude it, the shooter's not included in it, because usually they do end up killing themselves, are shot or killed using this definition. At least they're honest about this in a way. 373 people died in these incidents in 2018. So I was interested with Tim Pool, and so I got on Wikipedia where they've got all this stuff, and this is motor vehicle fatality rate in the U.S. per year, and it's in the thousands. So here it is in 2018, 36,560. Let's see, where is it the highest? So we've got a bunch of 40s in there. Oh, there's 51,000 in 1980. Oh my, holy crap, that was just slaughter. Oh, 53. What? How does it get so much higher? You know why 1900 there's no deaths? Because did they even have cars back then? I know why it's deadly, because cars were trash back then. That's why. My grandmother was born in 1919, and she said she remembered still riding around on horses. And so if there were 10,000 deaths, it's like, yep, because only the rich could afford it back then, and there weren't roads or any of that kind of stuff back then. So that makes sense. So yeah. What's that other one say? Vehicle traveled miles. I don't care. Fatalities per 100. Yeah, and the population was much smaller back then too. Only 104 million, and now we're up to 350, roughly. I thought we were up to 350. 327 it says. Well, maybe it's, well, no, it wouldn't be up to 350. But yeah. But why do we not talk about that? Oh, what are you doing? Or are you concerned about people living and dying? Okay, well then it seems like that would be something that would have a much greater effect. So don't tell me that you care. But I've put this down right here because it is a fact. 36,530 people died from car wrecks in 2018. And I just copied and pasted that, and I copied and pasted this. And the Gun Violence Archive, an online database of gun violence incidents in the U.S., 373 people. It's not guns. It's not guns. It's people. People do these things. Just like it's not the cars. I don't blame the cars either. It's people. It's people falling asleep. It's people not paying attention. It's people who get distraught with life and they commit suicide by car. They commit suicide by cop. They just go out and do something horrendous like that. And it's all bad. But I'm not going to go out and pretend like gun violence is this horrible thing that's just this special little fairy place that it's just none of that. Absolutely none of it. I'm not going to lie about this. It's not fantasy land. The real world is that people die all the time from a lot of different things. And yes, I would like it if we could help, but this isn't it at all. And there's nothing that supports it at all. Because you can pass all the gun regulations that you want. It won't do anything for the black market. Most of these people, from my understanding right now, is that they were already banned from getting guns, but they still managed to get them anyways. So, just, I'm tired of it. And then I just want to wrap it up. There's this one last video from Tim Pool, and they're talking about I don't know what this girl's name is. She's new. I'm not familiar with her, but she was in the hospital talked to a nurse, and they got to talking about what people kind of regret the most whenever they're on their deathbed, and heard it from men quite a bit that they didn't spend enough time with their families. And I have heard this forever. This was nothing new. What was new is that she said that it's now increasingly women who are now saying this because more and more of them are working. And it's like, well, yeah. I mean, I don't give a damn about any of this crap. I don't have good conversations and good memories with this stuff. If I do, it's because there's usually somebody associated with it. It's like you, even as a little kid, you know, you could have the biggest, baddest water gun on the whole neighborhood, but if you don't have anyone else to play with, who cares? You know, I had this little water hose connection thing. It was, you took a water hose and you would screw on this little green cap and it had a little hole. And you could take the water gun, jam it on in there, then turn the water hose on to full pressure and it would fill up and it would be like a balloon. And then there was this little pinch that would cut it on off and you turn it all off. And you had like this really simple, really cheap, really long-lasting water pressure balloon water gun. A lot of fun. But it wasn't because it was a clever device. It was because they were cheap, so had enough for me and all my friends, and we just went around and we just hosed each other like crazy. That was fun. Same thing with all these families that I've seen growing up through the years. I've seen these families where they are just close-knit, close bond, and they just do everything together under the sun. They've got great relationships. The parents really took the time to foster those children, to teach them what they knew, to give them the best advice that they had, that they were also humble, and it was a two-way street. So the way that I've always looked at it, at least within the past 10 or 20 years or so, is that, yes, as an adult, you should make all the decisions, every last one of them, because a baby's just stupid. But as the baby grows up and gets older, it needs to change. And then that way, whenever the child is an actual adult, they can make all these decisions for themselves, and then you can start having more of a adult relationship instead of just this child adult. It's like it's no two adults. Still a parent and their child, but not a kid and an adult. I guess that might be. And then that way you can have more grown up, more sophisticated conversations, activities, the whole thing. I mean, who wants to be a parent and they still have a child? You know, so just take it out to an extreme a little bit. Do you want to have like a 30-year-old child who's still in diapers, who's still having to be fed with a bib, having to bathe them? Who wants to do that stuff? There are so many things that you could be doing with your life that's so much more enjoyable and rewarding. And then whenever they have kids too, and you've got grandkids, think, oh, that's great. Some of my best memories are the family reunions that we had whenever I was young, whenever family ties were still good. And in order to do that, I'm doing this Noble House Jones kind of thing, because it's me taking a look back at my life, and if I could do things over, what would I do and better, and why, and just kind of answering all those questions, so that if I should be blessed enough to be able to have children, that they can benefit as much as possible. And then this is something that they could change and adapt, because everything changes, but then it gives them a heads up for whenever it's time for them and their children, so then they're not starting from just nothing. I mean, that's literally what school is. We don't learn how to read and to write and to do math. No, somebody teaches that. We don't figure that out on our own. So why aren't we doing this with our families? And then they talk on some more about what to do with your children if you're going to homeschool and all that stuff. And this is an interesting video. It usually is with Tim Pool. But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up from them. I'm going to have most of these links down in the description below. So if you want to watch any more of this, go ahead, especially that corn. It's like, that's exactly what we needed. The UN has solved the problems of the world. We are all saved. Toughen up there, Buttercup. We'll catch you later. Thanks a lot. Bye.